Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Tuesday, April 12th. I'm so excited to be here. I am in my truck still. As you know, I posted a tour of my studio on Sunday, and they are actually in the place working on it now. As you can see, they've got trucks. It's my house there. People in there working, so that's a good thing. And I also put out a podcast this weekend talking about the exciting goals and things moving forward that are coming up. I wanted to talk to you today in this video, I think, about something really cool that I've come across, and it just makes a lot of sense for our business, and for anyone trying to grow or start or grow their voiceover business. I've always been in my life I've wanted to be an investor. Investing in things. I love seeing things grow. And I've always wanted to, invest also in, like, for example, the stock market and things like that. So I've always followed investment, people and money managers, things like that. One of the people that I really like is Charlie Munger, and if you know who that is, he's the his business partner of Warren Buffett. Who both of them are extremely wealthy and considered probably the best stock investors ever. So anyways, Charlie Munger has this idea, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about. And it's not his idea, but he kind of made it very popular in the past years. And he likes to espouse the idea of using, when you're trying to solve problems, you're trying to do something, using cross-discipline ideas, to add to solving problems, mental models, if you will. So anyway, stay with me with this. So basically the idea is like, if you're trying to solve a problem in psychology, do you know what I mean? It's okay to look at other disciplines like mathematics or science or, economics, different things, right? Different disciplines, look at rules in those disciplines and how they, match up with the things that you're looking at in that particular discipline. Well, anyways, out of this came a mathematical idea, an algebraic idea of inversion. So the idea, right, of inversion in algebra, right, is when you're trying to solve for an algebraic problem, right, you invert, and that's how you solve the problem, right? And especially too, and then when you move on to matrices and things like that. Anyways, point is that this inversion idea is an incredible way to think about how to grow your business, how to solve problems that you're going through and things like that. And I want to share it with you today. So the idea is, so we're just gonna use the idea here of losing weight. Okay, like if you wanted to lose weight, okay, then the idea of inversion is, think about what are the ways that you would not lose weight. What are the things that you could do to not lose any weight? Okay, so if I look at that, I think of eat fast food, don't ever exercise, sit around a lot, kind of like my voiceover business, right? So these types of things, eating unhealthy food, all these things that I can come up with about what I would do to not lose weight. And then the idea is drink sodas whenever, all this kind of stuff. The idea of inversion is then you avoid that, right? The idea is it shows the problem from the other side of what actually, you don't want to do. And by avoiding that, because sometimes it's a lot easier to know what you shouldn't do than what you should do. So if you look at our voiceover business, right? So the idea is, let's use an example. Like, let's say that you want to get your first voiceover job, right? Well, if you turn that around and say, what could I do to not get my first voiceover job, right? So if you think about that for a second, well, the things that you could do to not get your first voiceover job is, one, tell anybody that you're doing voiceover so no one knows that you're doing voiceover. Have any way for someone to hire you. Be in a place where anyone knows that you are doing voiceover. Stay away from places where people are hiring people to do voiceovers. If you just, having a demo or, something for samples for people to listen to so they could determine whether or not to hire you, a method of payment, right? How are you going to accept payment? How much, you wouldn't have a price structure, right? Like, you can come up with all of these things about what you would do not to get business. So if you come up with those things using this inversion idea, then the idea is, if you go about avoiding those things, so flipping that around, saying, okay, well, that means I want to, have a demo and samples. I want to have a price structure, right? I want to avoid, not being places people are hiring voice actors. So I want to be on platforms where they're hiring voice actors, right? Then this idea of your avoidance of these things that you should not do leads you to a way of then researching, okay, well, what do I need to do to avoid those things by accomplishing these other things, right? At all costs, I avoid those other things. It's a very interesting mental trick, right? A mental device, mental model, if you will, of thinking by always inverting the problem, and Charlie Munger uses bigger ideas, right? Like he says, he said he was a pilot, or he was a weatherman in World War II, for the military, and he would, his job was, to clear pilots to take off in the mornings. And, his idea was, how does he make sure that these, or the pilots are able to take off? Well, he would say, what's the fastest way to kill these pilots? And, he said, one way is to make sure that, their wings would be iced over, or they would get stuck somewhere where they ran out of fuel and couldn't land. So his ideas were to avoid those things at all costs, right? To keep the pilots alive. And it's just an interesting way, and then he goes further to say, if I was asked to help India, you know what I mean? Help India, the country, what would I do? So he says, I invert that and say, what would I do to hurt India? What could hurt India the most? And then I would avoid those things. So you can see, as you do have to then start to do some research about those things, and then that avoidance allows you practically, right, common sense, which is uncommon, right, but common sense to avoid those things to stay away from, right, in turn then causes you to actually succeed. It's a fascinating idea. It's so simplistic. It's a fascinating idea. But the last thing is he kind of gives 3 points, or not he, but there's 3 points that I think you can look at this, right? One, you have to determine what it is you're trying to accomplish. So I use the idea for voiceover, right, that we're trying to grow our voiceover business, or start a voiceover business, or grow a voiceover business. That's a very particular thing, right? So you could say, well, I want to, grow my voiceover business, or I want to, here's the thing. You could say, I want to go full time as a voice actor. Okay. I want to go full time as a voice actor. And I need to make $60,000 a year to go full time as a voice actor, right? We can say that. So that's one. You have to clearly define what you're trying to do, right? Step 2 is take that goal and then figure out how not to accomplish it, right? It's crazy, right? So, if I was trying to, go full time and make $60,000 a year, now step 2 is to figure out how not to accomplish that, right? Well, I mean, if I, to go full time, all right, so if I was not going to go full time, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Then it would be important that I don't have insurance, right? It would be important that, I don't make X amount of money a month. It would be important that I don't, you know, go to places where people are making that much money. I wouldn't seek out people who are doing what I'm trying to do or who have done that specific thing. So I want to, I wouldn't do that because they would probably give me the answers I need. Like, you could start coming up with a whole slew of things, right, that you would need to not do in order to go full time. And then from that, step 3 is avoid those things at all costs. It's really just a fascinating idea, and it strikes me as a cool way to look at things, right? Instead of a way of trying to figure out how to accomplish things that you've never accomplished, we oftentimes, it's a lot easier to figure out how not to accomplish things and avoid that. I hope this has got your mind thinking about things. It's a cool, fun trick, if you will, to do and to use with decision making and problem solving. I think that it could help a lot. It's already started working on my mind and just making me stop and think. And you know what I mean? I'm always fascinated with our minds and the power of thinking and what we can do to better ourselves. And how that mental capacity or to take new ideas and infuse them to create a better future for ourselves is fascinating, exciting to me. So anyways, I know this is a very, deep session today in the truck with Anthony, but hopefully it's given you some thought. And if you like the video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and also, if you're looking to grow your voiceover business or want some more interesting ideas or things from me, you can always check out VOsJourney.com, and you'll find some great tools there to grow your business. All right, guys, thank you so much. You have a wonderful Tuesday. I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.